Alright guys, today we're going to go ahead and do my oil change on my 911. It's a Gen 2, so it's a 2011 4S. So let's go ahead and put some heat in the engine and get this thing going. Alright guys, so now that we got heat in the engine, we're going to go ahead and change the oil filter first because it's up top, and then open up the spout or the filler, and then just allow it so it doesn't create a vacuum. It just allows it to drain a lot faster. So we're going to go ahead and get that done first. Okay guys, so the first thing we need to do is we need to open up the trunk. Just pull that lever, it'll pop it open. Walk around to the back of the vehicle. So right here is your oil filter, and then right here is your fill. Obviously, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So we're going to go ahead and take this off first. I've got a socket for it. I don't remember the size, but I purchased it at Pelican Parts, I believe, for 15, 20 bucks, something like that. And then we're going to go ahead and open this up right here. So right here is your socket. It's, I don't know if it's going to get even focus. There it is. And then here's your oil filter that I use. So you guys can read that, but that's basically the oil filters I use for my Cayenne Turbo and also the 911. So let's go ahead and get this stuff started. Essentially just using a small screwdriver. It's just something to pop this old O-ring off there. Once you get the old one off, put the new one on. Super easy. Nothing to it. I'm trying to wipe all the stuff off this thing. Keep it as clean as I can before I put it back in. Okay, on that, there's probably a torque spec on it, but the cap, I just tighten it up till it stops. You know, I mean, you don't need to monkey torque it down. You'll keep tightening up till it comes to a stop, and that's usually where I tighten it up to. So, and then the only other thing you need to do is just go ahead and open up the filler spout, and that'll just keep it from drawing a vacuum when you're draining it down below. Now let's go ahead and raise the car up. Alright guys, so while that's draining, I usually let it drain for maybe an hour to an hour and a half, and usually while I'm waiting for it to drain, I'll sit there and I'll check the air intake filters, make sure they're still clean, try to clean up the inside of the car, something like that while I'm just waiting, you know, waiting for it to drain out. It'll sit there and trickle forever, it seems like, but I try to get as much of it out as I can. Once I get as much out as I can, I go ahead and put the drain plug back in, I'll lower the vehicle, and I'll add 7.5 to 8 quarts of OW20, 40? OW40. OW20 is for my wife's Lexus, so. Alright guys, so another thing too is I do have a magnetic drain plug on for this particular vehicle, my 911, just to make sure there's nothing going on internally. Which I think you could pick those up for, you know, 20, 30 bucks at Pelican or any other Porsche supplier. But this little metal or aluminum washer, everybody's like, you got to replace them every time. No, you don't. If you just inspect it, just make sure there's not a bunch of, it's galled up or nothing like that. No big burrs on it. And I've taken it to where I've actually just sanded it down, just thrown it back in. I do have a packet of 20 of them, but you know, I only use them when I necessarily have to use them, you know, so it's not really going to focus that well, but this is the used one. There's nothing wrong with it, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. I've never had no issues with it leaking or nothing like that, so don't get scared or concerned by people saying, oh, this is what you got to do. You don't really have to, but you just have to understand it. You have to inspect it, make sure there's not a bunch of nicks and, you know, it doesn't look like someone, you know, chewed it up and then tried to put it back in and expect it to seal, because it probably won't, but, you know. But you're going to go ahead and tighten this up down to, I think it's 19, yeah, it's 19 foot-pounds is what you're going to tighten up this drain plug down to. So, and once again, I don't even torque it down. I just tighten it up. You know, I have a feel for it, so I don't really tighten it up to spec. I mean, if I was doing like rebuilding the engine or something like that, I would tighten up all the internals to spec, but an oil drain plug, unless you're leaving it loose where it's gonna rattle out, it's not that critical where you can't just sit there and tighten it up and snug it up, maybe another quarter of a turn or so. It ain't gonna come undone. All right, guys, so now that you've got your oil filled up, you need to check your oil level. So in order to do that, the vehicle won't let you check your oil level until the vehicle's actually warmed up. 175, right? So what you do, you got this lever down here, right? If I can get it to focus, right there, you press it forward, okay? And then it'll show you oil, check oil level. So then you press it forward again, and now it's going to sit there and go through the sequence, and now it's showing that I'm about 1/4 of a quart low, which is fine. All right, guys, that's pretty much it on the oil change. Other than which I'm not going to do for you guys, but basically you want to take it out, you want to warm the vehicle up, get the oil temperature up to normal operating temperature, and then once you do that, find a flat level surface and go ahead and check your oil level, and then from there, if you have to add any or top it off, other than that, it's super easy. Like I said, the socket, you don't really need to take off the cap for the oil filter housing. You can use an adjustable wrench or whatever, but if you are interested in purchasing that particular socket or one that size, they do have them like at Pelican Parts. Suncoast may have them, I'm not sure, but I purchased mine through Pelican Parts, and then that 8mm Allen wrench for your drain plug. I would buy 2 jugs of the OW40, which is a 5-quart jug. I catch them on sale at Walmart for just under $23 a jug. So the price of the oil change for me is about, you figure 2 jugs of oil, that's $44 or $46. The oil filter's another 15, 16 bucks. So you figure right around 60 some odd dollars, $60, $65, something like that. My dealership charges $360 for the same oil change. On that note, guys, gotta go. See you when I see you.